My parents used all my savings for my brother's startup and told me to marry a rich man instead. I worked nights to pay for my own education and built my business from the ground up. When his company failed and they came begging for help, they had no idea I had just bought. You know that gut-wrenching feeling when your entire world shatters in an instant? Mine did the day I saw the number on my banking app, a cold, hard zero. My life savings, every penny I'd scrimped and saved, gone. And the worst part? My own family took it. My name is Lucille, and I just discovered my parents had stolen my entire life savings, over $4 million, to fund my brother's startup. It's only temporary, darling. My mother's voice dripped with that familiar condescension. She perched on our living room sofa, sipping her afternoon tea like we were discussing the weather. Adrian's company needs the capital right now. He'll pay it back once Synchronwave takes off. You had no right. I managed to say, my teeth clenched. That was my money. I worked 3 jobs through college for that savings. Oh, please. She waved a dismissive hand. You're smart enough to find a rich husband. That's a much better investment than whatever little nest egg you were building. My father sat quietly in his armchair, pretending to read the newspaper. Classic Frank Ward behavior, always letting my mother do the dirty work while he played passive observer. Did you even consider asking me first? I demanded, my voice rising. Or does Adrian's latest genius idea automatically trump my basic right to my own money? Now, Lucille, my father finally spoke up, his tone placating. Your brother has real vision. This could be huge for the family. We are all in this together. I laughed bitterly. Together? Like when Adrian crashed his 3rd car and you bought him a new one, while I had to take the bus to my minimum wage job. Or when you spent my college fund on his failed record label. That's different, my mother snapped. Adrian has entrepreneurial spirit. You've always been practical, safe, better suited for supporting roles. The words hit like physical blows, but they weren't new. I'd heard variations of this my entire life. Adrian was the star, the golden child, the one with potential. I was just there. The reliable daughter. The backup plan. Where is he? I asked quietly. Where's Adrian right now? My mother's expression brightened. He's in Aspen, meeting potential investors, making real connections. You should see the presentation deck I put together. It's absolutely stop. I held up my hand. Just stop. I want my money back. Now. Don't be difficult, Lucille. This is family. Family? I walked to the massive fireplace, staring at the photos arranged on the mantel. Adrian's graduation. Adrian's startup launch party. Adrian. Funny how family only matters when you need something from me. My father cleared his throat. Your mother's right. Think of the bigger picture. Once Synchronwave takes off, I corrected. If it takes off. And if it doesn't, what then? It will, my mother said firmly. Adrian knows what he's doing. I turned to face them both. When will I get my money back? They exchanged a look I knew too well. My mother set down her teacup. Well, darling, these things take time. Perhaps 6 months. A year at most. A year. My voice cracked. That was my down payment for an apartment, my emergency fund, everything I've saved since I was 16. Oh, please. My mother rolled her eyes. You can stay here as long as you need. We've always said that. Though honestly, at your age, you should be focused on finding a husband, not playing at independence. Something snapped inside me. Years of swallowed words and buried resentment burst through the dam of my patience. I walked to the stairs without another word. Where are you going? My mother called after me. To pack. I threw clothes into my suitcase with shaking hands, grabbed my laptop and essential documents. 10 minutes later, I walked back downstairs with everything I owned in 2 bags. This is childish, my mother said. Where will you even go? I paused at the door, looking back at them one last time. My father still hadn't moved from his chair. My mother stood with her arms crossed, more annoyed than concerned. You know what's funny? I said quietly. You're so convinced Adrian's the smart one, you never bothered to notice I graduated top of my class. That I've been developing my own software for 2 years. That I'm actually good at what I do. Lucille, my father started. Keep the money. I cut him off. Consider it the last thing you'll ever take from me. I walked out into the cool evening air, got into my car, and drove away from the house I grew up in. My hands had stopped shaking. For the first time in my life, I felt completely clear about what I needed to do. They wanted me to find a rich husband? Fine. I'd make myself rich instead. Another double shot, Lucille? Marco slid the espresso across the cafe counter before I could answer. 6 months into my new life, and he already knew my schedule better than I did. You're a lifesaver. I grabbed the cup and hurried to my usual corner table, where my laptop waited. 3 hours until my shift at the tech support center started. Just enough time to work on my project. My phone buzzed. Mom again. 7th call this week. I silenced it without looking at the screen and pulled up my code. Girl, you look like death warmed over. Freya dropped into the chair across from me, her marketing textbooks thudding onto the table. When's the last time you slept? Sleep is for people who haven't had their life savings stolen, I muttered, taking another sip of espresso. Have you seen this? Freya thrust her tablet in front of my face. On the screen was a glossy photo of Adrian in a designer suit, standing in front of Sinkerwave's new downtown office. The headline read, Tech Rising Star, Adrian Ward revolutionizes data management. That's my money he's wearing, I said, pushing the tablet away. And his revolutionary idea is basically just a prettier version of existing software. Show me what you're working on instead, Freya said, scooting her chair around to my side. I turned my laptop toward her, displaying lines of code and wireframe mockups. It's an AI-driven data visualization tool. But instead of just pretty graphics, it actually learns from user behavior to predict and suggest optimal data patterns. See these algorithms here? English, please. Freya interrupted with a laugh. Marketing major, remember? It makes big data actually useful for normal people, I simplified. And it works. I just need time to perfect it. And money, Freya added quietly. Working on it. I pulled up my budget spreadsheet. Between my tech support job and weekend web development gigs, I was slowly rebuilding my savings. Very slowly. The cafe door chimed and I looked up to see my Aunt Athena walk in. She spotted us and made her way over, elegant as always in her business suit. Ladies, she greeted, sitting down. How's my favorite goddaughter? I'm your only goddaughter, I reminded her. Details. She waved her hand dismissively, the same gesture as my mother, but somehow warmer. I saw the article about Adrian. Join the club. I also saw your prototype demo. She raised an eyebrow at my surprised look. I still have contacts in the tech sector, dear. Your idea has potential. Real potential. Too bad potential doesn't pay for development costs, I sighed. Athena pulled out a business card and slid it across the table. There's a tech incubator accepting applications next month. The director owes me a favor. But she held up a finger as I reached for the card. Your mother can't know I'm helping you. Felicity would never forgive me for enabling your rebellion. You mean my attempt at independence? I took the card, studying the embossed logo. Same thing in her world. Athena's phone buzzed. I have to run. But, Lucille, she caught my eye, you're better than they think you are. Remember that. After she left, Freya grabbed my arm. This is huge. The incubator could give you everything you need, funding, mentorship, connections. If they accept me, they will. Freya's confidence was infectious. And I'm coming with you. You need a marketing director, and I need a job that doesn't involve selling my soul to corporate America. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from Adrian. Hey sis, heard you moved out. Mom's pretty upset. Call her. I showed Freya the message. First time he'd contacted me in 6 months. Ignore him, she said firmly. Focus on the incubator application. This is your chance. I looked at my code, then at Adrian's text, then at the incubator's card. 6 months of working double shifts, sleeping on Freya's couch, and coding until my eyes burned. 6 months of ignored calls and swallowed pride. You know what? I started typing furiously. I'm going to do more than apply. I'm going to build something so good, they can't ignore it. That's my girl. Freya high-fived me. Operation Revenge Success is officially launched. Don't call it that, I laughed, but my fingers kept moving across the keyboard, lines of code flowing faster now. The prototype was good, but it could be better. I would make it better. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Athena. The director wants to meet next week. Don't tell your mother. I smiled and kept coding. They wanted me to marry rich? I had a better idea. I was going to build my own empire instead. The charity gala buzzed with Silicon Valley's elite, all designer dresses and practiced laughs. I adjusted my simple black dress, the nicest thing I could afford, and tried to look like I belonged. After 18 months of grinding, Sparklands was finally launching, and these people were potential clients. Stop fidgeting, Freya whispered, appearing beside me with 2 champagne flutes. You look amazing, and your company is about to change the game. Tell that to them. I nodded toward a group of investors crowded around someone I couldn't see. Their excited voices carried across the room. Revolutionary. Unprecedented. Genius. The crowd parted and my stomach dropped. Adrian stood in the center, radiating confidence in a custom suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. He was gesturing enthusiastically, champagne sloshing in his glass. And that's why Synchronwave is the future of data management, he announced. We're not just disrupting the market, we're redefining it. The investors ate it up. I took a large sip of champagne. Is that Freya started? My brother, yeah. I turned away, but not before catching a glimpse of my parents hovering nearby, beaming with pride. They hadn't noticed me yet. Lucille. A familiar voice made me turn. Aunt Athena approached, elegant as ever. I didn't expect to see you here. Sparklands got an invitation after the incubator showcase, I explained. I couldn't exactly say no. Good, she lowered her voice. Because Marcus Reynolds is here. Yes, that Marcus Reynolds. And he's looking for new investment opportunities. My heart jumped. Reynolds was legendary in tech circles. His backing could fast-track everything we'd been working toward. He's by the bar, Athena continued. Go introduce yourself. Now. I handed my empty glass to Freya and made my way across the room. But before I could reach the bar, a familiar figure stepped into my path. Excuse me, miss, but wait. Adrian squinted at me. Lucille, is that you? The fact that he had to double-check my identity said everything about our relationship. Hello, Adrian. I kept my voice neutral. Congratulations on your success. Thanks. It's been incredible. We just closed another funding round. 7 million. Can you believe it? He didn't wait for an answer. But hey, where have you been? Mom's been worried sick. Working, I said simply. Building my own company, actually. Sparklands. We're launching next month. I gestured to where Freya was talking to some developers. That's my team over there. Oh. He looked confused. I thought you were still doing tech support or whatever. Does Mom know about this? Mom doesn't know anything about my life anymore, I said coolly. Excuse me, I need to speak with someone. I tried to step around him, but he caught my arm. Wait, Luce, look, about the money thing. I know Mom and Dad shouldn't have done that without asking, but it worked out, right? Synchronwave is crushing it. Before I could respond, I overheard 2 investors behind us. Heard they're hemorrhaging cash. Smoke and mirrors. Second mortgage on their house just to keep it afloat. Adrian's grip on my arm tightened slightly. His smile remained fixed, but I saw panic flash in his eyes. Everything okay? I asked innocently. Perfect, he released my arm. Never better. We're actually about to announce a major partnership. Revolutionary stuff. Interesting. I spotted Marcus Reynolds, finally alone at the bar. Good luck with that. I left Adrian standing there and approached the bar. Reynolds looked up as I arrived. Mr. Reynolds, I'm Lucille, founder of Sparklands. I believe you saw our demo at the incubator showcase last month. His eyes lit up with recognition. The AI visualization platform. Impressive work. Very impressive. I've been meaning to reach out. Thank you. We're launching next month and Lucille. My mother's voice cut through the conversation like a knife. She appeared beside us, face tight with forced politeness. Darling, I had no idea you'd be here. Mrs. Ward. Reynolds nodded politely. You know Lucille? My mom said, then quickly added, she's my daughter, but you simply must meet my son, Adrian. He's doing extraordinary things with Synchronwave, Mom, I interrupted firmly. Mr. Reynolds and I were in the middle of a business discussion. Oh, but Adrian's announcement is about to start. You'll want to hear this, Mr. Reynolds. It's going to change everything. Reynolds looked between us, clearly sensing the tension. I straightened my spine and met his gaze directly. Actually, I said, I'd love to show you our latest prototype. We've added some features I think you'll find interesting. He smiled at me, not my mother. Lead the way. As I walked away with Reynolds, I heard my mother's sharp intake of breath. For the first time since they took my money, I felt truly powerful. The game was changing, all right. Just not the way Adrian planned. Syncrowave CEO steps down amid fraud allegations. The headlines screamed across my phone screen. I sat in my new office, watching the story unfold in real time. 3 years of Adrian's revolutionary company imploding in a single morning. Freya burst through my door without knocking. Have you seen? I'm reading it now. I scrolled through the article. Misused investor funds, falsified growth numbers, multiple lawsuits pending. Your parents, Freya said carefully. They're mentioned in the article. I found the paragraph she meant. Sources confirmed the Ward family mortgaged their publishing company headquarters, a historic downtown property, to provide emergency funding in Syncrowave's final months. My phone rang. Aunt Athena, I assumed. You've seen the news, she said when I answered. Hard to miss. There's more. Your father's publishing company is facing bankruptcy. They're selling the building. The building. I closed my eyes, remembering summer afternoons spent hiding in its library, dreaming up stories while Adrian played CEO in Dad's office. Girls don't run publishing houses, Mom had said when I expressed interest in learning the business. Lucille, Athena's voice brought me back. There's something else you should know. Philip Mackenzie is handling the sale. Philip Mackenzie. The same ruthless investor who'd been trying to partner with Sparklands for months. Send me his number, I said. 20 minutes later, I sat across from Philip in his downtown office. I wondered if you'd come, he said, sliding a folder across his desk. The Ward Publishing Building. Prime location. Historic value. Asking well below market rate. They're desperate for a quick, quiet sale. They don't know you're showing this to me. They don't know I know you. He leaned back. Your company needs a headquarters. This building needs an owner who understands its value. And you, he smiled thinly, you need something else entirely. What makes you say that? Because I recognize that look in your eyes. It's not about the building, is it? Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from Adrian. Please call. Need help. Everything's falling apart. I showed Philip the message. They took everything from me once. Used my money to fund his lies. And now, you can take everything back. Philip tapped the folder. Through me, they'll never know you're the buyer until it's too late. I opened the folder, studied the numbers. I want to make an offer. I thought you might. Back at Sparklands, I found Freya waiting in my office. Your mother called the company line 4 times today. What did she want? To know if you're hiring. Apparently, Adrian needs a job. I laughed humorlessly. Of course he does. There's more, Freya hesitated. The tech blogs are saying Syncrowave wasn't just mismanaged. They're saying Adrian was gambling with company funds. Casino trips disguised as business meetings, huge losses covered up with fake projections. My phone buzzed again. A message from my father. Please call. Your mother's not handling this well. We need family now more than ever. Family, I muttered. As if. Now they remember I exist. What are you going to do? I pulled up my banking app. Not empty anymore, but full of legitimate success. Sparklands had grown beyond my wildest dreams, our AI technology revolutionizing how companies handle data visualization. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'm going to buy their building, I said quietly. Through Philip Mackenzie. They won't know it's me until the papers are signed. That's Freya searched for the word. Cold. No. Cold was stealing my savings. Cold was telling me I wasn't good enough. Cold was betting everything on Adrian while treating me like a backup plan. My phone rang again. Adrian. You should answer it, Freya said softly. At least hear what he has to say. I picked up. Adrian's voice came through shaky and unfamiliar. Loose. Thank God. Listen, I messed up. Really messed up. But I can fix it if what, Adrian? If you get another chance? Another handout? Please, he whispered. I don't know who else to ask. That's funny, I said. Because until today, you didn't even know what company I ran. Didn't care enough to ask. Goodbye, Adrian. I hung up and turned to Freya. Call Philip. Tell him I'll take the building at asking price, but I want the deal closed by the end of the week. Are you sure about this? I looked out my office window at the city skyline, at the old publishing building standing proud among modern glass towers. Soon, it would be mine. The same building where I was once told I didn't belong. They wanted me to marry into success, I said. Instead, I was going to buy it. The papers are ready to sign, Philip announced, spreading documents across my desk. Once your parents accept the offer, the building is yours. I traced my fingers over the property photos, the red brick facade, the brass door handles I used to polish with my sleeve before entering the corner office where Dad had once told me, this will all be Adrienne's someday. They have no idea I'm involved? None, Philip smiled. As far as they know, it's just another investment group. They're so desperate to sell quickly, they haven't asked many questions. My phone lit up with a text from Freya. Your mother's here. Reception just called up. Perfect timing, I muttered. Send her in. Philip gathered his papers. Want me to stay? No. This needs to be private. He nodded and left just as my mother walked in. She looked smaller somehow, her designer clothes slightly wrinkled, her makeup not quite perfect. Lucille. She stopped short, taking in my executive office. This is unexpected. Is it? I gestured to a chair. Sit down, Mom. She perched on the edge of the seat, clutching her handbag like a shield. I've been trying to reach you. I know your father and I, she swallowed hard, we need help. Alone. Just until we can sort everything out. Define everything. The legal fees are overwhelming, and with the building sale pending, she tried to smile, but you're doing so well here, obviously. I had no idea. That's because you never asked. She flinched. Darling, I know we've had our differences. I laughed. You stole my life savings. You told me my only value was in finding a rich husband. You backed Adrienne's lies until there was nothing left to lose. He's your brother. And I'm your daughter. I pulled out a folder, not Philip's, but one containing bank statements from 3 years ago. Remember this? The day you drained my account. She looked away. We were trying to help Adrian achieve his dreams, while crushing mine. I closed the folder. How much do you need? Hope flickered across her face. 200,000. Just to keep the creditors at bay until the building sells. I opened my laptop, pulled up a document. I have some paperwork for you first. Of course. She reached for her reading glasses. What is it? A loan agreement. With some conditions. She started reading, then stopped. This says we have to provide full financial records? Bank statements? Property documents? Everything? But why would you need? Because I want to see exactly how much you gave Adrian. Every dollar. Every secret mortgage. Every hidden withdrawal. She stood up abruptly. This is ridiculous. We're family. Exactly. And family should have nothing to hide. I won't be interrogated by my own daughter. Then you won't get the loan. She sank back into the chair, deflating. You've become so hard. I learned from the best. After a long moment, she pulled out her phone. I'll need to discuss this with your father. Take your time. I stood up. But, Mom, the offer expires today. She looked up sharply. Today? But that's impossible. You need money. I have it. These are my terms. Her fingers trembled as she dialed. I watched her whisper urgently into the phone, watched her face crumple as my father presumably agreed. Fine, she said finally, picking up the pen. Where do I sign? As she scribbled her signature, my phone buzzed. A text from Philip. Offer on building accepted. Congratulations on your new property. There, Mom pushed the loan agreement across the desk. Now, about the money, I'll have my lawyers review the paperwork, I said calmly. They'll be in touch. But we need it now. The building sale won't cover everything, and the new owners want to close quickly. The new owners already closed the deal. I turned my laptop around, showing her the property transfer documents. 10 minutes ago, actually. She squinted at the screen, then went pale. But that's your company name. Your signature. Yes. You, she whispered. You bought our building. I bought my building. I stood up. The same building you said I'd never be worthy of running. She staggered to her feet. This was your plan all along? To humiliate us? No, Mom. This was business. Just business. I walked to the window. You can tell Dad the new owner wants all offices cleared by Friday. Lucille, please. I have a meeting. I pressed the intercom. Freya, please show my mother out. As she left, shoulders shaking, I didn't feel the satisfaction I'd expected. Instead, I felt something else. Freedom. The weight of their expectations, their dismissal, their control, it was finally lifting. They'd sold their legacy to save Adrian. They just didn't realize they'd sold it to me. You can't do this. Adrian slammed his hands on my desk, making my coffee cup rattle. This building has been in our family for 3 generations. Technically, I replied without looking up from my laptop. It's been in Dad's family. And now, it's in mine. Is this some kind of revenge? Because if it's about the money, sit down, Adrian. To my surprise, he did, collapsing into the chair across from me. His designer suit was wrinkled, his eyes bloodshot. The golden boy had lost his shine. I can fix everything, he said, running his hands through his disheveled hair. I just need time. And maybe a small investment. I finally looked at him. You mean like the investment you took from my savings account? That was Mom and Dad's decision. And the casino trips? The fake investor reports? Were those their decisions too? He paled. How did you? I have access to all Sinkerwave's financial records now. I pulled out a thick folder. Part of the loan agreement Mom signed yesterday. Interesting reading. You had no right. I had every right. I opened the folder. Vegas. Atlantic City. Private poker games all logged as investor meetings. Very creative accounting. Those were legitimate business expenses. Really? I turned the folder around. Should we call the SEC and verify that? His face crumpled. Are you threatening me? No, Adrian. I'm showing you reality. Something Mom and Dad never did. They believed in me. They enabled you, I corrected. And now they're losing everything because of it. He stood up again, pacing. I'll sue you. For emotional damages. For stealing our family legacy. I pressed a button on my phone. Freya, bring in the other folder. Freya appeared moments later with another stack of documents. I spread them across the desk. Bank statements showing where my stolen money went, casino receipts, falsified company reports in your handwriting, emails to investors with inflated numbers. I looked up at his increasingly pale face. Still want to talk about lawsuits? He slumped back into the chair. What do you want? Nothing. Everyone wants something. No, Adrian. I already have everything I want. I gestured around the office, his father's old office, the building, the success, the validation. You're tearing this family apart. The words echoed in the quiet office. I thought of all the family dinners where my achievements went unmentioned, all the times I was told to be more like Adrian, all the dreams I was told to suppress. No, I said quietly. You did that. You and Mom and Dad. I'm just the one who stopped pretending it wasn't broken. Please, he whispered. I need help. Real help this time. I pulled out a single envelope and slid it across the desk. What's this? A job offer. He opened it, then looked up in disbelief. The mailroom? You're offering me a job in the mailroom. Entry-level position. Fair salary. Real work. This is a joke. This is an opportunity, I leaned forward, something you've never actually had before. A chance to earn something instead of taking it. I won't work for my little sister. Then leave. I pointed to the door. But those documents? They go to the SEC tomorrow. Unless you accept the position. He stared at the envelope, then at me, then at the folder of evidence. His hands were shaking when he swallowed hard. When would I start? Monday, 9 a.m. sharp. No special treatment. He stood up slowly, clutching the envelope like it was radioactive. Mom's right, he said. You have become hard. No, I said. I've become strong. There's a difference. As he reached the door, he turned back. Did you hate me this whole time? I never hated you, Adrian. I hated what they turned you into. What they wouldn't let me be. After he left, Freya came in and perched on the edge of my desk. The mailroom, really? Everyone should learn the value of working their way up. And the SEC documents? Ready to file if he steps out of line. I looked out the window at the city skyline. But I don't think he will. He's finally scared of something real. You know your mom's going to lose it when she finds out. Probably. I picked up my coffee cup. But for the first time in my life, I don't care what she thinks. Freya smiled. The queen is dead. Long live the queen. Not a queen, I corrected her. Just a woman who finally stopped asking for permission to succeed. The afternoon sun streamed through the windows, warming the office that had once been forbidden to me. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's reconstruction. Building something new from the ashes of what they tried to deny you. Local tech prodigy acquires historic publishing house. The headline blared across my tablet. Below it, a photo of me standing in front of the renovated building, Sparkland's sleek logo gleaming above the entrance. Your mother's on line 3, my assistant called through the intercom. And Entertainment Weekly wants a comment on her interview. Send me the article first. Moments later, the magazine piece appeared in my inbox. The headline made me wince. Mother of tech CEO speaks out. My daughter's success came at a heavy price. You've been avoiding her calls for 3 days, Aunt Athena said, walking into my office unannounced. The interview is getting traction. Let me guess. I painted herself as the victim. See for yourself. Athena picked up my tablet and read aloud. Lucille always had it out for her brother. She couldn't handle his natural talent, his charisma. This hostile takeover was calculated revenge, nothing more. I laughed without humor. Hostile takeover? They sold the building willingly. She also mentions your cruel treatment of Adrian. You mean the job I gave him when no one else would touch him? The intercom buzzed again. Adrian's here for his quarterly review. Speaking of the devil, Athena smiled. Want me to stay? No, I need to handle this alone. Adrian entered, wearing a cheap suit instead of his usual designer labels. 3 months in the mailroom had changed him. He stood differently, spoke differently. Quarterly numbers, he said, placing a folder on my desk. We've improved efficiency by 12%. I know. Your supervisor mentioned you're doing well. He shifted uncomfortably. Have you seen Mom's interview? Just reading it now. I didn't know she was going to do that. He sat down without being invited. Look, Lucille, I get it now. What you were trying to show me. Do you? Yeah. These past months, actually working, it's different. Real. He gestured to the folder. These numbers? I earned them. No lies, no shortcuts. And how does that feel? Weird, he smiled slightly, but good. The intercom buzzed again. Mrs. Ward is in the lobby. She's demanding to see you. Adrian tensed. Want me to tell her to leave? No, I stood up. It's time to finish this. My mother burst in before my assistant could announce her, face flushed with anger. How dare you ignore my calls after that stunt with the building? And now Adrian, Mom. Adrian interrupted. Stop. She whirled on him. Look at you. My son, reduced to sorting mail while she sits in your father's office. It's my office, I said quietly. I earned it. You stole it. Just like you stole Adrian's chance at success. No, Mom. I gave him something you never did, consequences. How dare you? I dare because I'm not afraid of you anymore. I walked around the desk. Your interview? Classic deflection. But here's what you don't understand. I don't care what people think. Success speaks for itself. You've destroyed this family. Actually, Adrian stood up. She saved it. Saved me. I was drowning in lies and fake success, and you and Dad kept pushing me deeper. Mom staggered back like she'd been slapped. Adrian, the mailroom job? It's real work. Honest work. For the first time in my life, I'm not pretending to be something I'm not. But you're meant for greater things. No, he said firmly. I'm meant for real things. Lucille showed me that. Tears filled her eyes. You've turned my own son against me. No one turned anyone, I said. Adrian just grew up. Maybe it's time you did too. Your father will hear about this. Good. I handed her a newspaper. He can read about Sparkland's latest acquisition while you're telling him. We just bought out our biggest competitor. She stared at the paper, then at me, then at Adrian. The fight seemed to drain out of her all at once. I don't understand you anymore, she whispered. Either of you. You never did, I replied. That was the problem. After she left, Adrian turned to me. That was necessary. I finished. For all of us. He nodded slowly. I should get back to work. Those efficiency numbers won't maintain themselves. As he reached the door, I called out, Adrian. Yeah, keep up the good work, and we might have a junior management position opening up next quarter. He smiled, a real smile, not his old practiced one. I'll earn it first. After he left, Athena reappeared. Well handled. It doesn't feel like victory, I admitted. It feels like growth, she finished. Sometimes the hardest battles aren't won with revenge, but with truth. I looked out at the city, at the building that now truly belonged to me. Not because I took it, but because I earned it. Truth, I repeated. That's something they never gave me, but I gave it to myself. The morning sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my office as I signed the final acquisition papers. Sparklands had just become the leading data visualization company in North America. Congratulations, Freya said, collecting the documents. Though you don't look as happy as I expected. Just thinking. I handed her an envelope that had arrived earlier. My father sent this. She opened it and read aloud. Dear Lucille, I've spent weeks trying to write this letter. Your mother doesn't know I'm sending it. The truth is, I failed you. Not just with the money, but with everything. I chose the easier path, supporting Adrian, avoiding conflict, letting your mother's prejudices dictate our family's future. I watched you build something extraordinary while pretending not to see it. I can't undo those choices, but I can finally acknowledge them. The building, the company, the success, you earned all of it. Not through marriage or luck, but through pure determination. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. Love, Dad. Bit late for apologies, I muttered. But you kept the letter. The intercom buzzed. Adrian's here with quarterly reports. He entered, carrying a thick folder and wearing a confident smile I'd never seen before. Not his old artificial charm, but something genuine. Mailroom efficiency up another 15%, he announced. And I have drafted a proposal for streamlining interdepartmental communication. I took the folder. You're exceeding expectations. Learned from the best. He hesitated. Actually, there's something else. I'm enrolling in night classes. Business administration. Really? Yeah. Thought it was time to earn a real education, not just coast on charm, he smiled wryly. Though Mom's not thrilled. Says I'm following in your shadow. Instead of reclaiming my birthright or whatever. And what do you think? I think, he sat down, I think I'm finally building something real. Something mine. The intercom buzzed again. Miss Holland is here. Aunt Athena swept in, elegant as ever. Ready for the board meeting? Almost. I turned to Adrian. Actually, why don't you sit in? See how the executive level operates. His eyes widened. Seriously? You've earned it. The real way. After he left to prepare, Athena picked up Dad's letter. He finally found his voice. Too late to matter, is it? She raised an eyebrow. You kept the letter because it's the first time he's ever acknowledged the truth. I stood up, walking to the window. But acknowledgement isn't the same as change. No, she agreed. But it's a start. Speaking of which, she handed me a newspaper. Your mother's latest interview. I braced myself, but the headline surprised me. Tech CEO's mother admits past mistakes. I was wrong about my daughter. She actually said that? Read it yourself. I scanned the article. I was raised to believe a woman's success came through marriage. I tried to force that belief on my daughter. But Lucille proved me wrong. She built something extraordinary, not just despite our lack of support, but because of it. She turned our rejection into resilience. While I may not agree with all her choices, I cannot deny her achievements are entirely her own. Interesting timing, I said, putting down the paper. Maybe. Or maybe watching both her children succeed on their own terms finally opened her eyes. The intercom buzzed one final time. Board members are ready. I gathered my materials, then paused. You know what's funny? They always said I needed to marry rich to be successful. And instead, I smiled, touching the Sparklands logo on my presentation folder. I married my ambition. Turns out it was the most faithful partner I could have chosen. And the most rewarding, Athena added. Walking into the boardroom, I saw Adrian already seated, taking notes. Freya was setting up the presentation. My team, my real family, ready to help build something even bigger. I thought about Dad's letter, Mom's interview, Adrian's transformation. Their recognition didn't heal the past. But maybe it wasn't supposed to. Maybe the point wasn't forgiveness or reconciliation, but evolution. They had evolved. I had evolved. We had all become different people. Ready? Freya asked. I looked around the room. My room. In my building. Surrounded by my success. Not stolen. Not inherited. Not married into. And yes, I said, I'm ready. Because that's the thing about success built on your own terms. It doesn't need anyone's permission to shine. It doesn't need family approval or societal blessing. It just needs you, your determination, and the courage to prove everyone wrong. I opened my presentation and faced my board. Time to show them what else I could do.